Right now at 8, the bitter cold is here. I'll talk about how cold it could get coming up.
And the cold may have caused a burst pipe, but some local residents' problems go further. Why they say their building management is lying to Madison Fire. Plus, Alice in Dairyland joins us with how to make your holidays the butteriest yet. Well, good Saturday morning, and thanks for waking up with us this weekend. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn.
And I'm Jacob Montesano. Today is December 13th on a Saturday, and boy, if you step outside, you can feel the cold. And you can also kind of tell, I don't know about you, but when I was on my way to work this morning, even though it didn't look like it, I felt like I slipped a little bit.
There are some slick spots out there, so definitely be safe if you're outside on the road this morning. But if you're outside in general, scarf, hat, gloves, all the warm weather gear, you're going to need it.
Yeah, and any moisture that is on the roads is easily frozen over at this point. Let's take a look at the alert day information. This is for all of southern Wisconsin, and it's going to be the case all weekend. We'll see negative 20 to possible negative 30-degree wind chills at times, so there's not really going to be a break from the cold weather over the weekend. Here's a look at the current temperatures. Right now, far southern Wisconsin, right around 0, just above it, below 0 for areas off to the north, but this isn't the story. The story is the wind chills. Obviously, the actual temperatures are cold enough, but we're seeing wind speeds up around 10 to 15 miles per hour, which is leading to wind chills in the negative teens to negative 20s for some areas. And as I mentioned, there's not really going to be a lot of relief because although the temperatures will warm up maybe a few degrees this afternoon, the winds are also going to pick up just a little bit. So that's going to lead to wind chills staying in the negative teens to negative 20s all day. And then as we get towards Sunday morning, it's going to be even colder. Negative 30s is where Sunday morning is when we could be seeing those wind chills. So definitely stay warm out there. There is some very good news in the forecast if you don't like these temperatures, though. I'll talk more about that coming up in just a bit.
Thanks, Jacob. You folks at home can stay on top of the alert day conditions by downloading the free First Warn Weather app. Find it wherever you get your apps. The City of La Crosse will open an emergency day center on the north side this morning. That's at 710 St. James Street. It's open now until 7 p.m. today and tomorrow. The Salvation Army says while their shelter is at capacity, they'll have resources all day today.
Cold weather can be very dangerous, especially for babies and young people, as well as elderly people. So we encourage everybody to get inside and stay warm.
Available today, as well as jackets and cold weather gear. In the greater Madison area, the Salvation Army of Dane County offers an emergency family shelter on Milwaukee Street and a single woman shelter on East Washington Ave. Porchlight offers a men's drop-in shelter on Zero Road. And for more information and extreme weather resources near you, visit 211 Wisconsin online. Due to the dangerously cold air, the Henry Vila Zoo is canceling its light show this weekend. People with tickets will be automatically refunded. The lights are reopening on the 17th, running through December 23rd, and tickets are $12 per person. Children 3 and under are free. President Trump is hinting at more military action being taken on Venezuela. This comes after earlier in the week, the U.S. seized control of a crude oil tanker off the Venezuelan coast. Venezuela's president calling the seizure an act of piracy and has vowed to protect tankers exporting Venezuelan oil. Some lawmakers are pushing for more transparency on the U.S.'s military actions against the South American nation.
Congress deserves to know, and at least the Intel Committee and the other more important members in our House deserve to have the questions answered because we're not at war with Venezuela.
Meanwhile, the president also vowed to take the fight beyond Venezuela's borders, bringing down drug traffickers wherever they are. Here are Friday's closing numbers, red across the board on Wall Street as the Dow Jones tumbles 246 points. The Nasdaq, a bigger loss, down 399 points, while the S&P 500 falls almost 74. In continuing coverage this morning, we're following the burst pipe at an apartment on Madison's north side. They awoke early last Sunday to water spewing down into their units. The pipe was eventually repaired, but those tenants tell our Arman Rahman management did not deliver on its promises and obligations.
After a burst pipe displaced 4 tenants in the Parkcrest Apartments off of Troy Drive, some of those tenants say that they've had to struggle to keep their head above water with little to no help from management.
Just had this same problem last week.
This is not how Charnette Taylor wanted to start her holiday season.
I had just put my Christmas tree up Sunday morning. Yeah, and then this happened.
On December 8th, the light in her kitchen crashed down on her table and water started gushing out of the ceiling and fixtures.
It was pouring water like Niagara Falls up in here.
Meanwhile, just next door at Pamela Ivory's,
all of a sudden, all this water comes down in my ceiling. And then next thing we know, the ceiling and pile of water just fall down on us.
no one was hurt. Both women say property management took too long to answer, so they called the fire department. A burst pipe above them was to blame.
A week before December 8th, number 8 apartment pipes bust.
According to Madison fire officials, they were told management found accommodations for those displaced.
They didn't even put us in a hotel room. They didn't even come check on us to make sure we needed anything.
So the management told me he had to speak to, I don't know if he said the supervisor or the owners, and he'll get back with me. But he never did.
Charnette was offered an apartment across the hall for her and her 16-year-old son, but says it wasn't clean. Pamela had to stay in her room while crews literally put the roof back over her head.
Thank you for calling Parkcrest Apartments.
I reached out to Parkcrest Apartments to see if they had a statement or comment.
You'd have to talk to someone in management.
I'm still waiting on a response from the management company, Commonwealth.
I've been here 22 years. I pay my rent on time. I don't cause no trouble.
I've been living here for 14 years, and it seems like nobody care about us.
Reporting in Madison, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
Armand, thank you. As soon as we receive a response from the property manager, we'll update you on channel3000.com. Now, reduced pressure or discolored water may be signs the water in your pipes is starting to freeze. And a frozen pipe can be an expensive fix, as we just saw. And a simple way to avoid problems with frozen pipes is to routinely run tap water from inside. Just a couple minutes, 2 or 3 times each day, especially during periods when there is little water use. Interior areas must be adequately heated to protect plumbing from freezing. So be sure those doors and windows are closed and properly insulated so cold air can't leak in. Right now, the Mount Horeb Police Department is asking for your help to bring canines back to the department. It's been 10 years since Mount Horeb had a canine as part of their team. The department is trying to raise roughly $125,000 to cover the cost. That's to buy the canine along with training and equipment.
You never know when your time is going to be that you might need that dog. A lot of times these dogs can be used in search and rescue operations. A lot of times kids might wander away from a school, away from their home. It might be your family member that needs it.
We'll have a link to donate to the Mount Horeb Police Department on our website. They hope to have a canine by fall 2026. As the holiday season gets underway, the U.S. Department of Transportation is cracking down on impaired driving with its Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign. It runs through January 1st. NHTSA says the winter holidays are one of the deadliest times of year for impaired driving. Between 2019 and 2023, more than 4,900 people were killed in December crashes involving an alcohol-impaired driver. Law enforcement will be out and in full force, and officials are urging drivers to plan ahead. Use a designated driver, call a ride, and never let friends drive drunk. And to the Packers, they're getting ready to take on the top team in the AFC. That is tomorrow. The Pack will be in Denver to face the Broncos, and you can catch the game right here on WISC TV. Kickoff is at 3:25. Let's check in now with meteorologist Jacob Montesano. He's looking at past winters.
Hey, Michelle, Renee. Now, if you remember last week, I had talked about the winter from this year to last year. Do you remember exactly what I had said, though?
Something about this year, our total almost being more than all of last year.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Okay.
I was talking about how we're going to be very close to that level, and that's pretty much where we are right now. We're at 19.5 inches, and last year total we had 22 inches. Now, this is from October through April, so not only during the winter season, but rather the entire snowfall season. Still have a long way to go to match 2 years ago and certainly 3 years ago. And that 19.5 inches we've seen so far, it's not expected to change a whole lot going forward. We are seeing some light snow in far southern Wisconsin right now, but the majority of the snow from this system is to the south of our area. And this is really the only chance of snow over the next couple of days. Notice as we get towards the later portion of the day, the clouds will become clearer, and that's going to continue tomorrow into Sunday with more clouds next week. But our next solid chance of precipitation will be in the form of rain and snow because temperatures are actually going to warm up to the point where we could see that rainfall. I'll talk a little bit more about that warm up coming up in just a little bit. But first, we're going to do our morning motivational quote. Today, it's from Steve Jobs.
The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
I always like that because, I feel like the people that are like supremely intelligent, like a lot of people are smart, but like the really, really intelligent people, they always have the wildest ideas, and sometimes it works out.
And sometimes it works out, right. And you don't even have to be crazy intelligent to have an idea. Sometimes your crazy can be, the next big thing. It'll change the world.
As I talked earlier, it could be as simple as just creating Facebook.
Exactly. Still ahead, I sat down with Alice in Dairyland. We're helping you make this season the butteriest yet.
And later, I'll be back with a full look at those cold temperatures and the warm-up that will follow. This is Weekend Mornings. Keep it here.
You're watching News Now This Morning. Moving forward.
Welcome back. Joining me now is Alice in Dairyland. This is Sarah representing the Department of Agriculture this morning. And what do we have here?
Well, today I am going to showcase Wisconsin butter and how it can make your holidays the butteriest yet.
Okay, the butteriest. I love that. And now Wisconsin is big on dairy, so how exactly can we make our holidays the butteriest yet?
Certainly. Butter is just one of the many dairy products that contributes to the rich dairy heritage here in Wisconsin. And it's made with two simple ingredients, just cream and salt. Our dairy cows here in the state are working hard to make sure our butter processing plants have plenty of cream to keep them busy. There are 13 here in the state to be exact.
Wow.
That helps Wisconsin be a top 2 butter producer in the nation. This butter, of course, makes its way to grocery stores all across the country, helping Americans consume 6.5 pounds of butter annually, which is at a 50-year high.
That's a lot. I was going to say.
It sure is. Lots of different ways to use it too. This all supports America's Dairyland and our $52.8 billion dairy industry, as well as our dairy farms, 99% of which are family owned.
Nice. I know my family is big on butter. My mom always says everything is better with butter, and we used to actually drive up from Illinois to Wisconsin to get butter and then take it back so that we can make our special Christmas cookies with Wisconsin butter.
Hey, and cookies are just one of the many things you can use. Butter binds together not only our recipes, but also our gatherings, right? It's that common comfort food we can gather around. Also, this compound butter that I've brought today is another way that you can use butter. You can mix in ingredients like extra fruits, cheeses, herbs, and many other things to make it versatile and fit everyone's taste. I have a savory herb and cheese butter compound, which uses simple ingredients. It's just softened butter, a Pine River Creamery cheddar Gruyere, and then it's salt and pepper and just chopped up herbs for it to taste. I then brought a Hasselback potato for a show-stopping dish that's sure to please anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it smells very yummy. Good. And I'm only right here, so thank you. And I can't imagine how the spread's gonna look on everybody's tables this holiday.
Very festive. It makes everything just that much more homey and more comforting. If people are looking for ways to find Wisconsin butter or any other dairy products during their holiday shopping, they can look for this Proudly Wisconsin Dairy Badge, which signifies genuine Wisconsin dairy, and you're supporting our farmers here in the state. You can also look for the code 55 on packaging to know that it comes from a Wisconsin processing plant. If people want to find ways to use butter, maybe some recipes or tips, they can head on out to the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin website at wisconsincheese.com/butter, and there you'll find more facts about our lovely butter here in the state.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today. And now here's Jacob with your weather.
Thanks, Michelle Renee. As we look at the 3 things you need to know, bitter cold this weekend with not a lot of snowfall going forward. And after this weekend, temperatures are going to trend warmer, and that may continue even beyond just the next week. But obviously, a lot of our attention is focused on this weekend because the cold weather will get fairly dangerous at times. There's a cold weather advisory in effect for our entire area until 10 a.m. tomorrow. Now, as we take a look at the wind chill forecast, once again, they're going to stay in the negative teens to negative 20s all afternoon and then drop even further for tomorrow morning, where we could see those wind chills in the negative 30s. Now, for tomorrow afternoon, it will be slightly better than today, but still wind chills expected to stay below 0, and that will continue for Sunday night and Monday morning as well. But by Monday afternoon, they'll finally be above 0. Now, to put this cold weather into perspective, here's a look at the average coldest wind chill that the state of Wisconsin sees throughout the year. And for Madison and surrounding areas, especially to the east and southeast, -30 on average is the coldest we see every year. Now, certain years we can get colder than that, but this goes to show that the cold weather we're going to see this weekend usually only comes about once a year. So it's not completely unprecedented, but we may not see temperatures quite to this level, at least the wind chills, for the rest of the season. But I also could be, biting my words a little bit, because they definitely can get colder than this, but this is just the average of what the coldest usually is. Now, here's the good news. After this weekend, temperatures will warm up very quickly. We'll see highs in the 20s Monday, 30s Tuesday through Thursday, maybe even lower 40s for Wednesday or Thursday. And then we'll continue to see highs in the 20s and 30s from there. But if you don't like this cold weather, you just got to get through this weekend, because next week looks a lot better. Next weekend looks a lot better in general. And as far as precipitation goes, we're really not going to see a lot of it. Our next chance of precipitation will be Wednesday night into Thursday, but at that point, we'll be warm enough to where we'll likely see a little bit of rain and snowfall. So again, not a lot of snow in the forecast in general.
Well, I guess that's the silver lining we can look forward to. Thanks, Jacob. Still ahead on weekend mornings, why the FDA intends to put a black box warning on COVID-19 vaccines. Plus, as always, Will Loper brings us the 3 things you need to watch. Stick with us. We're back in a bit.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
In health news, the FDA intends to put a black box warning on COVID-19 vaccines. That's according to 2 people familiar with the agency's plans. It is the FDA's most serious warning, intended to warn about risks such as death or life-threatening or disabling reactions that should be weighed against the benefits. It wasn't immediately clear whether the warning for COVID-19 vaccines would be applied only to mRNA vaccines or to all COVID-19 vaccines. And the CDC is reporting the first flu-related pediatric death of this flu season. This as flu activity is increasing nationwide, with many cases being reported among children. A recent study from Lurie Children's Hospital found 1 in 3 parents don't plan to get their child a flu shot this season.
This is an alarming concern because we're expecting a very active flu year, and also the fact that we're seeing an H3 strain. Any drop in overall vaccination rates across the population means many more cases.
A record 280 children died from the flu last year. A majority were not fully vaccinated. CDC data shows as of November 29th, only 38% of children received the flu vaccine. 8:22 now, let's check in with meteorologist Jacob Montesano, live from our studio in Madison. Good morning.
Good morning, Michelle, Renee. We've been talking about the cold weather, and although this weekend will certainly be the coldest air so far this season, doesn't mean it hasn't been cold over the last couple of weeks. Here's a look at the temperatures compared to normal. Blue indicating below normal, red indicating above normal. Through the first 2 weeks of December, only 2 days above normal, and those 2 days were barely above it, leading to the average temperature this year over 10.5 degrees below where we are supposed to be. And obviously that number is going to continue to fall with the temperatures this weekend. Actual highs are only going to be in the single digits. Actual lows will be below 0. Wind chills well below 0. And this is going to continue for tomorrow. We are going to see cloudy skies early today, and then the clouds will clear out of the region later. So we'll see a decent amount of sunshine, but that's not really going to impact the temperatures too much. So just a bitter cold weekend. Can't stress it enough. Stay inside and dress warmly if you have to be outside. It's not going to be a very pleasant weekend. That's the best way to, that's all I could really say.
All right, thank you, Jacob. Now to your entertainment news. Will Loper shares a few of the best in this weekend's 3 Things to Watch.
You're the only one on stage with the Monsignor at the time of his killing. You're the only one at that church who hated his guts.
The spirit really moved him today, huh?
Solve another mystery with Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. Newly streaming on Netflix.
Everyone thinks I did it. I didn't do it.
This goes way beyond normal police work. This is something even I have not experienced.
Daniel Craig returns as Detective Benoit Blanc, investigating a seemingly impossible crime.
It is time to discover what this flock of wicked wolves is hiding.
My rook is a phenomenal talent, but he's young.
Finish first in F1, newly streaming on Apple TV+.
You plus him. Boom. I got a team.
The 2025 film stars Brad Pitt as an aging Formula One racer brought on to help a struggling F1 team win.
The danger the camp is under is greater than you can possibly imagine.
And continue the adventures of Percy Jackson and the Olympians with Season 2, newly streaming on Disney+.
For the key to our survival, you must quest to the Sea of Monsters.
The series continues the story of Poseidon's son Percy as he interacts with new Greek gods and monsters. Those are the 3 things you need to watch, and this is Will Loper for Weekend Mornings.
I'm really excited about that first one, like a new Knives Out mystery. And I was surprised that you've never seen Knives Out because it's very popular. It came out, I think, in 2019. I loved it. There's a sequel that was really good as well. And I just looked it up. Reviews of the new one is really good too. So I'm excited to watch it.
I guess I'll have to get on this little trilogy train.
Do you like
over
mysteries?
Here. I love mysteries.
Yeah, they're classic mysteries. It's like classic whodunit.
Yes, this honestly seems right up my alley. So I can't believe I haven't seen it. But now you and Will have put it on my radar.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. Before we head to break, here's a look at last night's winning numbers.
Don't go anywhere. We're tracking the alert day temperatures and a little bit of some snow possible. I'll have the details coming up.
Stick with us. You're watching Weekend Mornings.
Right now at 8:30, we're expecting a bitterly cold weekend. I'll talk about how cold coming up.
And nearly a year after the Abundant Life school shooting, a statement released by the school. Plus, later, the increasing need for workers in construction, why the industry says it needs to attract 400,000 new workers. Well, hello, good morning, and thank you for waking up with us on this Saturday. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn, your Weekend Morning anchor.
And I'm meteorologist Jacob Montesano. This is Saturday, December 13th, and it definitely feels like December. It kind of feels like the middle of January out there. Yeah. It is very, very cold. You don't have to take long outside to notice that.
No, it takes about 10 seconds, not even. I mean, it'll hit you like a brick.
Yeah, and as we came into work this morning, there were like spots on the road that didn't look like they were slick, and there were a little slippery. Any moisture on the road is completely frozen over, so take it easy out there if you do have anywhere to go. But I know after this, I'm staying inside the rest of the day.
And you guys should too, because these temperatures are nothing to play with. So inside, if you can, tell us about it.
Yeah, so it's going to continue all weekend. There's not going to be much relief in the afternoon for today or tomorrow. And we could see wind chills as cold as -30 at times. And this is also for the entire region as well. Here's a look at the actual temperatures, barely above 0 for far southern Wisconsin, but they are below 0 further to the north. But the key is the winds have picked up just a little bit. Nothing too gusty out there, but when the temperatures are this cold, it doesn't take much wind to create very, very cold wind chills. So as we take a look at those wind chills, they are in the -10s to -20s for everybody. And places off to the north near Wausau are in the -30s. So this is going to continue all day. Even though the temperatures may warm up a little bit by the afternoon, the winds will pick up just a little bit more, and so it's going to lead to wind chills relatively the same. -10s to -20s throughout the entire day. It will get even colder for Sunday morning with widespread wind chills in the -30s. We only see -30 wind chills about once a year in Wisconsin, so not completely unprecedented, this cold air, but something that we often only see about once or twice every season, and this is going to be at least one of them for today and tomorrow. And then as we get towards the afternoon, Sunday, slowly getting better, but still below 0. They'll finally rise back above 0 for Monday, and temperatures will continue to warm up from there. I'll talk more about the warm up coming up a bit later.
Thank you, Jacob. We'll be checking in shortly. You folks at home can stay on top of the alert day conditions by downloading the free First Warn Weather app. Find it wherever you get your apps. Almost 1 year to the day since the Abundant Life Christian School shooting, the school is releasing a statement. The principal at the time of the shooting sat alongside the school's new principal to send their love to the victims' families and thank those who stepped up to help.
We also reflect on the tremendous outpouring of support that we received, not just from our church community, but from Madison and Dane County, around the state, and even across the nation and the world. We were well loved and cared for.
In the latest update on the case, the shooter's father, Jeffrey Rupp, now moved to have the complaint against him dismissed. He's charged with 2 counts of selling a dangerous weapon to someone under 18 and 1 count of contributing to child delinquency. Online court records do not indicate when he'll be in court next. Now to continuing coverage of a homicide case that began in Dodgeville earlier this year. A court found Gavin Thompson currently lacks competency, but will likely regain it. Thompson is charged with multiple felonies, including 1 count of first-degree intentional homicide. Those charges stem from the death of Dorinda Segabret in July. A criminal complaint says Thompson entered her home, stabbed her, then drove her body to Nebraska. Now you're taking a live look at the White House, where Democrats on the House Oversight Committee released 19 photos linking powerful people to Jeffrey Epstein. Among them, images of the president surrounded by a group of women whose faces were all redacted. There were also images of Woody Allen, Bill Clinton, and Bill Gates. This a week before a deadline for the Trump administration to release the files it has in its possession.
The thing right now that's the most important is there is one man who has the power to release the files and get to the truth and bring justice to the survivors, and that's Donald Trump.
It's not like they're in contempt of Congress because they didn't respond to a subpoena. This is a new law with, criminal implications if they don't follow it.
A spokesperson from the GOP-led committee is accusing Democratic lawmakers on the panel of, quote, cherry-picking photos and making targeted redactions to create a false narrative about President Trump. That's a sentiment the White House echoed in a statement as well. In more local news, Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez met with community housing leaders to discuss federal funding cuts. Recently, cuts were made to HUD's Continuum of Care program. That leaves funding for initiatives supporting people with diagnosed disabilities or the chronically homeless in jeopardy.
We know what happens when we don't have this type of permanent supportive housing for our most vulnerable people. What ends up happening is they are on the streets, and they often are in our emergency departments, or they end up in jail. And it is way more expensive to have them touch the justice system, to have them be in our emergency departments, than it is to make sure that they have housing.
One of the organizations at risk is the Road Home Dane County, which operates 13 housing programs, serving around 250 families with children every year. If you would like to support them, a link to donate can be found on our website. Habitat for Humanity of Dane County is wrapping up the year with a special double home dedication. The event takes place Wednesday at 5 p.m., starting at 1125 West Main Street in Stoughton and continuing next door at 303 Pine Street. The dedications celebrate affordable home ownership and community support. This is a free event open to the public. And right now, tickets are on sale for Beauty and the Beast at the Overture Center. The first North American tour in over 25 years hits the stage next year from May 12th through the 17th. You can get tickets online at overture.org, by phone, or at the box office. And if you love dogs, yoga, and contributing to a good cause, you won't want to miss this event this weekend. Shelter from the Storm Animal Rescue will host 2 beginner-friendly yoga sessions today with adoptable puppies. Now, this one on your screen is not adoptable and not a puppy. This is Jacob's dog, Summer. But you can adopt the puppies at Yoga. The nonprofit specializes in rescuing animals with medical or behavioral needs. Every ticket helps the nonprofit take in more animals, and you can find a link to sign up on channel3000.com. Stick with us. We're sharing Chris Stanford's in-depth report on the trade industries and its growing need for workers after the break.
But first, I'll be back with a look at those cold temperatures and some light snow. Keep it here. This is Weekend Mornings.
And before we head to break, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, let us know so we can wish them a happy birthday and share their picture. Keep it here. We're back after the break.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Several light snowfalls this week, adding up to around 5 inches. So looking at the amount of snow we've seen this winter so far, 19.5 roughly, pretty close to last year's total. Now, although it says winter, this is encompassing October through April, so all snowfall during the snowfall season rather than just during technical winter. Still got a long way to go to get to 2 years ago and certainly 3 years ago. And as we take a look at the current radar, we are seeing some light snow across far southern Wisconsin, but the bulk of the snow from this system is to the south of us. Areas near the Illinois border won't see more than even 1/4 inch of snow. And this is really going to be the only chance of snowfall for the next couple of days. Taking a look at future track, again, some very light snow possible further south. The rest of our area will be dry, and then clouds will become rather clear once we get towards the overnight hours and tomorrow, but the sun not really going to do much to the temperatures. And before I go, do want to mention one thing. Here's a look at your Packers game forecast. Good news, it's not in Green Bay tomorrow, and I say that because of the temperatures. But in Denver, it's going to be very unseasonably mild. The kickoff temperature could be 60, and it's you question, is this in Denver or like Los Angeles, Miami? You know, this is going to be in Denver, and these are the actual temperatures. If you plan on attending, enjoy the weather because it's going to be a lot warmer than it will be here.
Yes, it will, and that will be airing right here on Channel 3. Kickoff is at 3:25, so you guys can tune in tomorrow to see the game. Thank you, Jacob. Now, these days, about 1 in 4 Americans say a 4-year college degree is worth it if you have to take out a loan. This has led to more students looking at other career pathways, such as the trades, which need them now more than ever. Chris Stanford has been looking into the impacts of this trend, and here's what he found.
Sydney Kaysen is figuring out if she has what it takes to cut it in construction. The Waunakee senior is a carpentry apprentice, splitting her time between the classroom and the job site.
Really wanted to use my hands and see what I'm building instead of sitting in an office for 8 hours every day.
Sydney was already taking construction classes. Then she joined the school's youth apprenticeship program.
I struggled figuring out what I actually wanted to do with my life and see where I was going to go. I didn't know what I was going to go to college for.
Waunakee's apprenticeship program is growing. This year, they placed their most students ever with local employers.
It is definitely growing. There's an interest from families and students who see value in a work environment like this.
McGlynn says they have 13 students currently enrolled in the school's construction pathways, learning carpentry, electrical, and plumbing skills.
I'm the person who will sit across from them and ask them what they want. Stop thinking about what your parents might want. Stop thinking about what everybody says you should do, and think about what your dreams are and what you want to do with your life.
For Sydney, the on-the-job training is crucial.
I've definitely learned a lot of skills that are going to be very useful throughout my life.
Every day on the job site is like a building block for Sydney's future, but she's also helping rebuild an industry that needs her. To keep up with demand, Associated Builders and Contractors estimates the construction industry needs to attract more than 400,000 new workers.
The industry is aging, so in order to replace all of those people that have earned their retirement and deserve that, we're going to have to replace them with new workers.
Part of their pitch is the pay. The average starting apprentice wage in Dane County is about $18.50 an hour. After completing a 3 to 5 year program, it's more than $43 an hour.
Really, the sky's the limit for people coming into the construction industry. Great wages, no debt coming out of the apprenticeship program.
Employers like Vogel Construction know what's at stake.
When you're short of craft workers and skilled trades, it's hard to get jobs complete on time. It's just the nature of it.
As for Sydney,
I think right now it's just setting me up for knowing exactly what I want to do and where I want to go.
The job site isn't just work, it's a glimpse of the future she's building for herself. In Waunakee, Chris Stanford, News 3 Now.
If you're interested in pursuing a career in the trades, here's what you can do. First, identify a trade you're interested in, like carpentry, plumbing, electrical, or HVAC. Second, make sure you meet the minimum requirements. Most apprenticeships require a high school diploma or equivalent. And third, find a sponsor or employer. Apply for an apprenticeship through a contractor, union, or a training committee. Now to your morning motivational quote. Today it's from Steve Jobs.
The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. I like this one a lot.
Me too. And we want you to be crazy. We want you to have those creative ideas and do what you can to change the world. Be kind and make it the best place it can be.
Although don't be crazy and try to brave the cold today, like with, in summer clothes. Stay inside.
Yes.
That's the exception to being crazy. Don't go out in the cold unnecessarily.
All right, thank you. And still ahead, sports anchor Kay Racine is bringing you your morning sports fix.
But first, I'll have a look at the full weekend forecast. You're watching Weekend Mornings. Keep it here. Welcome back. Here's a final look at the 3 things you need to know. Bitter cold this weekend, not much snow going forward. And after the temperatures, after this weekend, the temperatures are going to warm up quite a bit. And next week certainly looks a lot better. But gotta get through this weekend first. Cold weather advisory in effect for everybody. This is going to be until 10 a.m. Sunday morning. So let's take a look at those wind chills in the negative teens and negative 20s all day. Then getting even colder for Sunday morning, where they could be in the negative 30s. As we get towards Sunday afternoon, a little bit better compared to this afternoon, but the wind chills staying below 0, and they're also going to continue to stay below 0 Sunday night into Monday morning. Finally, by Monday afternoon, we are going to be seeing the wind chills get above 0, and the temperatures will continue to rise from there. Looking at the 10-day high temperature forecast, 30s by the time we get to Tuesday through Thursday, maybe even lower 40s, and we haven't seen the temperature hit 40 for Madison since before Thanksgiving, so it's going to feel very nice for that time frame. And even after that, we're not going to see temperatures nearly as cold as they will be this weekend. And even the extended beyond the 10-day forecast, the temperature outlook for the next 8 to 14 days does show above normal temperatures, not just for us, but a lot of the United States. And notice this is for the Christmas time, so it is possible we see a little bit of a milder Christmas, and that may melt a lot of the snow on the ground. So at this point in time, although we can't say for sure, the chances of a white Christmas aren't too great, which is a bit surprising considering how much snow we've seen so far. But the temperatures will warm up and stay at least, near average. Nothing like we're going to see this weekend with our next solid chance of precipitation coming Wednesday night into Thursday. And it will be in the form of a little bit of rain and snow, as temperatures in general will likely be warm enough to see both. So bitterly cold air this weekend. Got to get through it, but afterwards it's going to be a lot better, and we're not really going to see a lot more snow in the forecast. So for the most part, it looks like that kind of winter trend will be coming to an end soon. Obviously, it is still winter time, so it's going to cool back down eventually. But the below normal temperatures with the constant, at least, chance of light snow, not really going to see much of that next week. So this weekend, bitterly cold, but not quite as winter-like for next week.
Boogieing into the Sweet 16, Wisconsin volleyball is taking on a team that they've never beaten before. The Stanford Trees with an opportunity to change that. The Badgers start off strong as Una slaps one down in the first set, showing some dominance. And then here comes Carter Booth, sealing the set point for her team. But Stanford wasn't going down that easily as Julie Bilashaw puts one on the floor, helping them win the second set. But the Badgers didn't let them get any more, up 2-1. A block sent out of bounds seals the deal, 3-1 for the first ever win over Stanford in team history, making them the players dancing to the Elite Eight, taking on Texas next. But this team has been playing with a mentality that you can't ignore.
Coming into the match with the mentality that we're on the attack, knowing that, we have a little bit of an advantage in trans from what we've studied over the film and things like that. And, just running with that. I think it was really an emphasis for us to always be the one throwing punches, not the one taking them.
Dancing into the Elite Eight, throwing punches is exactly what they're going to do. Now it's time for you to have a great morning, Madison.
Kay, thank you. Still ahead on Weekend Mornings, winter events near you, plus your playlist pick from Aura twice in a row. So be like Aura and send me a song with the subject playlist pick to Mr. Quinn at WISCTV.com and tune in on Weekend Mornings to hear your song. We're back after the break.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Happening tomorrow, the annual menorah lighting will take place at Hilldale Shopping Center, but it will now be held inside of Macy's atrium. That's due to dangerously cold temperatures. The event, organized by Chabad of Madison, starts at 4 p.m. and will include music, light refreshments, and the traditional gelt drop. A 9-foot-tall menorah will remain on display at the green throughout the holiday, and the ceremony is free and open to the public. And you can now ice skate at La Crosse's Riverside Park. The Chad Erickson skating rink is now open. Free skate rentals are available between 5 and 9 p.m. this weekend. And if you have your own pair, you can skate anytime. But we certainly do not recommend this weekend due to the extreme cold air. Meantime, Rotary Lights carriage rides are canceled. And today's playlist pick is from Aura.
Now, this song only released last year, yet in Aura's opinion, it's an instant holiday classic.
You're listening to Snow Globe by Upsall, and this is such a fun one. I would love to be dancing in a snow globe. How cool would that actually be?
What's your favorite Christmas song?
Joy to the World by Mariah Carey, without a doubt.
Oh my gosh, you were ready for that question. I gotta go. Shout out to my girl Tay Tay. Christmas Tree Farm, great Christmas song.
I do love that one.
It's a great one.
Taylor Swift's Christmas Tree Farm is definitely up there.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for watching Weekend Mornings. Have a great rest of your weekend. Up next is Lucky Dog Reunions, and our next newscast is at 6 p.m.